I'm Ray Tedder, and coming up on LiveWire, we've got a great show for you today. You might get a pencil and a piece of paper or something to write with, because you're going to meet two people who are working within the community to make important statements about our society and how it works. So we're going to meet Stefante Clark, who is the founder and event coordinator for Justice Accountability Project. And we'll be talking about a march that's coming up to deal with the issues of law enforcement and how they relate to at-risk communities. And we're all at risk sometimes. So also we'll be talking with Richard Winters, who is a director of a theater company in Sacramento, and he's doing a play called The Iliad, or An Iliad, and that is about ancient warfare. So stay tuned for LiveWire right after this. Sitting across from me is Richard Winters. He's a director and an actor and a producer of an event called, you're not acting in that play.
I am not acting.
You are
in
not,
this
no,
one.
you're not acting.
I'm directing
It's
this
called
one.
An Iliad.
An Iliad.
Yeah, you were walking down the street one day and you thought, I think I'll do an Iliad. An Iliad.
Not exactly how it came to me, but I was actually about to open a show at the Sacramento Theater Company, and an actor was in the production with me, brought me this script and said it'd be an interesting show to do. And then that show at the Sacramento Theater Company didn't open, but I had that script, and so here it is 2 years later, and we're doing an Iliad. We opened this Friday.
And so are a number of other theaters. So let's talk a little bit about that. I think that that's important, that theaters are reopening.
Right. So
after this.
So COVID really did a lot of damage to live theater, live events, right? Because people couldn't gather inside spaces, and so for 2 years, it's been basically dark in all the theater companies here in Sacramento: the B Street, Capitol Stage, STC, California Stage. So right now, we're just beginning again to feel comfortable enough to have people in the audience. I think we still have trepidation, but we decided to open this.
Good. Is this a mask wear thing?
Yes, the audience will wear a mask. In fact, I picked an Iliad because it only has one person in it, so there was no interaction between actors, and there's enough distance between the actor and the audience so that he feels safe, the actor feels safe, and but we're asking the audience to wear a mask still because it's confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing. So at any rate, but you can get more information by just Googling calstage.org or
calstage.org.
Yep, that's get to the website, and so okay, that's good. So what happens in the play?
So what happens in the play? So basically, it's the story of the Trojan War, which everyone's familiar with. The movie Troy with Brad Pitt, and it's a big moment where
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, he's not in our show we asked him, but we couldn't.
He didn't have.
Well, I couldn't teach him enough.
He was doing another show.
He's kind of green around the edges, and I didn't have time to teach him how to act.
I see. Okay.
But anyway, the story is Achilles and Hector, basically the fight of the Trojan War, and Helen and Paris, and it's one man telling the whole story. And it's taken from the 3,000-year-old an Iliad, the Iliad by Homer, the Odyssey and the Iliad. And this is the Iliad is the going to the war, and the Odyssey is the return home from the Trojan War. And it's about an hour and 20 minutes long, and it's just a remarkable bit of writing. I read it one time and was like, holy cow, it's great.
Well, I looked it up on the internet, and I see that it's being played all over the United States.
Yeah, it's played all over the place. It was, and it's usually has a live musician, but it doesn't have to be. And it's just it's a storyteller, which is really, I thought was a great way to get theater going again in Sacramento, which is go back to the roots and just one person on stage embodying all the characters and telling this amazing story of Achilles and Hector and the battles for Troy.
Wow. So we'll have on the screen probably, if people are interested in seeing it. When does it open?
We open this Friday, so March 4th.
I see, and it's going
The
to play
only
for,
day that's a command, by the way, March 4th.
I see.
Just thought I'd give you that.
Okay, there it is on the screen. See, there it
That's
is,
great.
And it says Richard Winters. Oh, that's you.
That's me.
And played by Greg Parker.
Yeah, the poet. So the
Yeah,
poet is
the
Greg
poet.
Parker. So he's the one man in the show.
Good, good, good. And so you all ready?
Yeah, well, 2 days before opening night always feels like I just could use about 3 more days. It feels
Yeah.
like everything. That's where we are.
Every theater person I've ever talked
That's it.
to.
That's it. That's right. I think it's the panic that gets you to opening night.
Yeah, it sure is. So, okay, and so it's part of this whole movement now to come back on stage and get actors to
Right.
perform.
That's exactly right. It's time to get things going again. And then I try and find pieces that I feel speak to what's happening in our world and do some healing in our world. And this story is about the futility of war, the futility of violence, the anger that overwhelms men in particular, the loss in war, and a way of just all of us. I mean, look what's happening now in Ukraine, right? Another war,
Another war. Yet
another
another war.
useless, ridiculous war.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this show, and then I have another show opening in September, completely different. That actually is about high school, being written by former high school students and about life.
So you're
in-
working with high school students?
Well,
to
they
write
graduated. They're
it?
about 22 years old now, but they were my students when I taught high school. They're all
okay.
they're
And
all
is
young
it
adults.
what is it storyline?
The storyline, well, that one is called "Why Don't You Sit on My Lap," which is not, but that. And unfortunately, a teacher said that line in sarcasm to a student who'd come in late and didn't know where to sit in the class and was disrupting the whole class. And the teacher blurted out, "Why don't you sit on my lap?" And that domino of telling that student who told his parents, that told the school board, that told the principal, the stuff that came up and all of the misunderstandings and what happens in schools. And one of my goals is to create plays that allow people who are in their 20s to talk about their lives. Like a lot of the plays that people do are already done, and I look for original work written by young people here in Sacramento about the pain that they're in, the story. So this is our first one.
This is great.
Thank you.
It's good to professional theaters get a handle on the development of
Yeah. They're brilliant. I loved being a teacher. They're hanging out with young 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds. They're smart. They're awake. They're full of idealism, and I'd like to find a way to help them have their voices put up on stage for people to hear it.
Well, I wish you well on that. That
Thank
sounds
you.
like a real good,
Thank you.
really good thing. So, if the theaters now are reopening, are they doing any other kinds of work?
What do you mean by other kinds of work?
Well, this is a storytelling. Are they like?
Yeah, so there's regular plays, there's musicals, they're doing Fences at STC, which is August Wilson's story about, he did a trilogy about the Black American experience.
Yeah.
This is a play called Fences. Denzel Washington did a movie of it recently. B Street, I'm not sure what B Street's doing, but every theater has sort of a different avenue that they're in. Yeah, and I kind of like political things and more topical and a little more edgy. So that's and my mother comes to them, and that's
I
great.
see. Okay, well, she comes and she says,
Good job.
work, Sonny.
Good job.
Good work."
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, it's really good. So it's an interesting thing. You mentioned radio drama, though. You have radio drama.
Oh yeah. So there's this collection of mature actors. They call it third age on stage, and these are actors that have years of experience, but maybe a little more challenged to memorize scripts or don't want to put the energy into full productions.
Yes.
So we do radio dramas, we do radio plays. This old-fashioned 1950s radio play where you hear the
What's behind that door?
Exactly,
Yeah.
and the detective, the hard-boiled detective who finds the lady. They're fun, and they're radio dramas, and they're done live in front of an audience, and people love them, and they're really fun to do. And the actors who are a little more seasoned in their years get a chance to perform again without the pressure of memorizing full scripts.
Yeah, they're very talented, but they just don't want to learn
they don't-
99 lines.
Yeah.
But here, your current actor has learned an hour and a half.
About an hour and 20-minute long one-man show, which Yeah, it's interesting though, but it's mesmerizing, right? It's just mesmerizing. It's funny, it's touching. He plays all these different parts. He plays women, he plays men, has battle scenes, and it's just a man telling a story like around a campfire 2,000 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
3,000. The old stories that were passed
Good
from generation to
storytelling.
generation.
Good storytelling. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
This is the Trojan War, right? Everybody knows the Trojan War.
Yeah, well, that's a good story.
That's a good story. That's a good story.
And it happened, Well, I found that it is playing at the California Stage Theater, March 4th.
March
through-
4th through April 5th. Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Friday, Saturday at 8, Sundays at 2.
2 p.m. Okay, I see it there. And that's in Midtown there at 1725 25th Street.
R25 Art Complex.
R25 Art Complex. Wow, okay. And anything else on the line in terms of play development and working with playwrights?
Well, I have a young woman who graduated from UCLA. She's 24 years old, and I'm asking her to write some original pieces for us. I've done a bunch of plays about cell phones, about parents, about the military at schools, the fact that their schools seem to be buried with ROTC and getting kids to go into the military and what that's doing. So I try and find topical pieces for that young people, and then they tell me what they're interested in writing on. I'm really interested in what's driving their conversations.
Yeah.
And then
We
see if
should
I can put it on stage.
send a dramaturge into right after the military guy comes into the high school.
Yeah,
Send a dramaturge.
I mean, it's amazing how much the military is on campuses, on high school campuses, all the time, pressuring. Come in, come join. You'll love it. And then the kids go into the military thinking it's going to be something terrific, and then they get the reality of the military, which is they don't really care at all about you.
No, but you are a cog that
Right.
must work.
That's exactly right.
When it's called on.
And my son went. My son was a sergeant in the Army, and he got hurt, and he found out that the other side of the military is not particularly kind and not particularly caring anymore. But boy, they sure want you at the beginning. We'll take such good care of you. Yeah. So we looked at that.
Yeah.
We looked at that.
Good. And you should do a play about that.
We did. It was called Some Gave All.
Some Gave All.
And it was really beautiful. Maybe we'll bring that one over to California Stage.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, I wish you well on your journey in terms of choosing plays for California Stage and putting them up. Also, you have a group of people that you've put together, it says here.
Yeah, a
somewhere
leadership
in
council.
my paper.
So the theater is kind of in transition, and so I'm creating a leadership group of professional theater people to help create more theater in Sacramento and see if we can find some energy. And again, trying to find stuff. And I'm looking for new people. I'm looking for young people. I'm looking for people in between 18 and 30 who have a burning desire to speak their truth in front of an audience. That's really what I'm looking for. So
Yeah.
if you hear this and they're interested in that,
How about an old guy with white hair?
no.
No.
No, we have enough of those old guys. Old guys with white hair. Yeah.
I'm
we've
so
been,
sorry.
We've been hurt enough, I think.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We know.
We've taken up a lot of the
too
bandwidth.
much too.
We've taken.
Yeah. Okay. Well, golly, thanks so much for coming.
You're welcome.
We're
You're
going to
welcome.
take
Thanks
a
for
break
having
in
me.
about 30 seconds, and hopefully we will have you back when that play about the.
Why don't you sit on my lap?
I didn't want to say it.
Come on now. There's nothing
Why
wrong.
don't you sit on my lap?
It's an innocent question.
Yes,
It's like,
boy,
what do you want for
but it
dinner?
almost sent a teacher out of his job, though,
Yeah, it's
didn't it?
not good for a teacher to tell a student, "Why don't you sit on my lap?" It was an error.
It was a very big error. Okay. Thank you, Richard Winters.
You're welcome, Ray.
All right, we're going to take a short pause for the cause now, a little break. Get their pencils out, make sure that they're sharp, and we're going to meet the Justice Accountability March and their leader, Stefante Clark, right now.
Son, love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Jessica, will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
You see that? Whoa, we scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that? I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin!
145 over 92.
180 over 111.
I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest, and then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
Aha, we're back. My name's Ray Tedder, and with me in the studio is Stevante Clark. Stevante is an organizer, a man of courage in terms of the development of organizations such as the Justice Accountability March. It's coming right up.
Yes, sir.
There's a march coming up, and I think it's an important step in the right. And I always wondered why that kind of organization didn't come about sooner, but you're doing it.
Yes.
Tell me about it. You were walking down the street and you thought, I got it.
That's pretty much what it was. It was a vision, and it came to me, and it was, of course, for my brother. It will be 4 years since my brother has been taken from us unjustly in my grandmother's backyard. But for justice and accountability on not some levels and all levels, we believe it's a movement, not a moment. And that's why we wanted to do this march. We really wanted to do something for not just our family, but all the families that have been impacted by police violence.
And it would, as far as I can see in the great notes that you have written on your website, that this is actually a social change that if adopted in one place and works very well, will spread like, I don't want to say fire, will spread like the good thing it is, which is much, much more accountability with law enforcement and at-risk communities.
Yes, indeed.
Tell me about that idea.
Okay, so when it pertains to that idea, we believe, if we don't come together as one, these types of atrocities will continue to happen. If we don't come together and stand in solidarity when it comes to unity against hate, these types of atrocities will continue to happen. Nearly 1,000 people are killed by law enforcement every year. 28% of those are people of color, and it's just sad. We have to change those numbers. And I believe slow progress is better than no progress. Joe Biden is in that office. He's been elected primarily by black women, and until this day, the voting rights is not passed. The voting rights bill is not passed, and also the George Floyd Policing Act has not passed. So this march is to call for justice and accountability on not some levels, but like I said, all levels, because we need it right now more than anything.
We do, and I have here a list of vital statements about an organization that you're founding, which is basically to bridge that gap,
yes, sir.
And then to inform and educate policy,
yes,
because so many of us don't know what that is. We want to believe in the police force, but then when the police force does things that are crazy and they shoot people who are just standing there with their phone in their hand, we have a problem. And there's a list that you said,
actionable
say their
items.
names.
Yes, the SAC 6 is what we call that. And those are actionable items after the protest. Well, the march is good and all, but what do we do after the march? So we create the SAC 6 based on bridging the gap between law enforcement and at-risk communities. Before we do that, we believe we must bridge the gap between community and community. And number 2 on that list is to inform and educate on policy and legislative change. The word inform means to give facts. The word educate, moral, social, intellectual instruction. Policy and legislative change is legacy on paper, we believe. Stephon Clark law, signed by Gavin Newsom, is policy and legislative change. It's legacy on paper. But if you look at the rest of the SAC 6, number 3, for instance, provide resources and healing spaces.
Yeah.
Number 4 is commemorate the life and legacy of Stefan in a positive light. Number 5 is to receive recommendations on how to prevent Stefans from ever happening again. And number 6, the golden rule is spread the gospel of love. Everybody love everybody.
Yeah. And you know, I think everybody loves everybody. Look, that's a hard one to work on.
Yeah. That's the hardest one to work on.
I know. How does that, you know? And we're talking right now, and there's a big war happening, and young people are being killed right now because somebody wants something from them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why the march is not just focused on impacted families. It's also focused on the Stop the Asian Hate movement, focused on our brothers and sisters that are dealing with the ICE at the borders and our immigration crisis here in America.
Yeah. So, so far we've talked about these wonderful things, and if people want to learn more about it, they can start at your website.
Yes, sir.
And what's the website?
www.jamevent.org. You can check us out on Instagram.
Jam Event.
You know, at Jam Event on Instagram. Also follow me, official Stevante Clark. But the march is March 18th. Yep. California State Capitol, the west side of the state capitol, starting at 10 a.m. It's an all-day event. Vendors, Al Sharpton, Sean King, Benjamin Crump, national families like Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, George Floyd's family, Botham Johns, the Clark family. It's going to be so much. A lot of elected officials will be there as well. And this is just my first national march. It's my first ever national march, because I know a lot of people are looking at me right now.
This is good.
But this is my first one, and I plan on doing this every year till the day I die.
Good. And I wish you well on it. And I hope it is peaceful and makes a good statement to those people who have power to make these kinds of changes to our governments.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So the thing about this is that it's a new organization, and
yes, sir.
New organizations need power. They need people.
Yes.
People power.
Yes.
So the idea is to go on this march, be part of the march, which is on the 18th of this month.
Yes, sir.
And then sign up.
Yep. So March 18th, you come out. March 18th, you come out for the 4-year anniversary of not only Stefan Clark, but you get to stand in solidarity with families that have been impacted by
Where
police
do I go?
and community violence. You go to www.imsacevents.org, www.jamevent.org, or you can go to www.imsacfoundation.com.
And on that day, we go to the steps of the Capitol.
March 18th, 10 a.m., the west steps of the California State Capitol. Okay. The west steps pointing towards the California State Bridge, the Tower Bridge.
That's right.
Yep.
Right.
Oh,
you turn around, you can see the Tower Bridge.
Yep. Beautiful.
I get it. Okay.
Thank you so much.
If you turn around, you see a bunch of trees, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Definitely on the wrong side. Might be on the west steps.
Well, I've done that before, so where is everybody? I thought they're, and then I found out they were on the other side of the building.
It happens.
So we have some, what we call in the business B-roll.
B-roll, yeah.
Let's have a look at, what is this?
Well, this is a promo video my team had put together to promote the March 18th Justice and Accountability March on the west steps of the state capitol.
Oh, we were just talking about.
Yeah, that one right there.
All right, let's try that. Okay. Here we go.
Grandson says, everybody what? Love everybody. Yes, I want to know what's going on right now, people.
Wow.
Yes.
That was really great.
Yeah, that's right. Good 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful piece. We should play it here more.
I think so too. Let's add that on.
Stefante, at this march, people, can they bring signs and things?
Yes, they could bring signs. It'll be a sign making station as well. It'll be, if anybody, there's a lot of people out there that don't know about the march but have been impacted by community and police violence. So there will be space it'll be a safe, brave space for all those that have been directly impacted as well.
Okay.
You know.
So if you came a little earlier, say you didn't have a sign, you wanted to make one.
Oh yeah, we'll have a sign making station. There'll be booths on the side. We'll have the markers. We'll have the posters for you. Everything you need to be able to make a sign, we'll have for you. Just to, that way you can commemorate your life and legacy of your
Can you come a little earlier?
Yes, you can. It starts at 10 a.m. You can come by 9. 9 a.m. We should be set up.
Okay.
I'll be there early, but don't come earlier than 9.
No.
Please.
I was there at 7. What happened?
Don't do that.
No.
I won't be there.
Good. So, okay, and so it's an amazing thing. I'm glad you got the state capitol. It's the one where all the cameras seem to come out.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a short march as well from the Capitol to Cesar Chavez Park.
Yes.
At the end of the rally.
Okay. So we have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
What do you want to say?
I want to say support the movement, not the moment. I have Stefan's house right now. It's our new actionable item after the protest. It's aimed to be a 24-hour resource and rec center, library, and museum to commemorate the life and legacy of my loved one. It's located in 5940 Rosebud Lane in Carmichael's. And, it's an actionable item, and I think it's amazing because if you come to Stefan's house, you can not only support the gift shop we have there to support our foundation,
yes,
but you also check out the museum. We have 10,000 books. You could check out a book or a library. We have a studio. You could enjoy studio time. We have a therapy room with cultural competent therapists. And I think if we're not talking about actionable items after the protest, we're not only failing our people, we're failing our communities and ourselves as one, So
I hear that. I hear that. So you can get on there. There's actually, I think all I did was Google the words JAM movement.
Yeah.
And all this information came up.
Came right up.
So you're getting it out there, and I think that's a great thing. And you have so much those families of the George Floyd family. They're coming out here.
Yes, George Floyd's brother will be out here. The Oscar Grant family, Breonna Taylor's family. So many families have been impacted on a higher level, but also the less names you really don't hear about, like the Soraya Redmonds, the Marshall Miles, the Kobe Fridays. A lot of these families will also be here. Sean Monterosa as well.
So there it is up on the screen. It was up on the screen,
yes.
The thing.
March 18th.
March 18th.
So, State Capitol.
Thank you so much for coming to talk to me about this, Devante Clark.
Thank you. Thanks for
and
having me.
I wish you well.
Yes, sir. All right.
Bye.